You are listening to Claret Blue, an Aston Villa podcast brought to you by Birmingham Live.
Hello and welcome back to the Claret Blue YouTube channel. A very different setup currently. I'm sat at home in my bedroom at my little home office freelance desk that I used to have set up. Matt, by the power of the internet, you should be able to hear me. Is that correct?
I can hear, yeah, I just can't see. I can't see your friendly little face, which is, always gets me through my days, especially during these strange times in which we're living in.
It's very weird, isn't it, to be kind of recording. Obviously, we're not doing a podcast right now, but this is how we'll record the podcast in future. It's weird not being able to kind of bounce off somebody sat in the same room. I'm kind of like guessing of are you ready to talk now? Have you stopped what you're about to say? Like, what vibes are you giving off?
I'll just interrupt you, mate. You know that.
Okay.
I'll just shout over you. I mean, listen, you're speaking to somebody down the end of the tinternet who's still amazed that I've got. I can still whenever I print something from my phone, from my wireless printer, I feel like it's something out of Hogwarts, mate. So I'm blown away by technology. So to be able to,
I'm impressed by a wireless printer.
Well, honestly, it's a game changer, mate. To be honest, if you want something printed wirelessly, I can recommend them fully.
So talk me through your survival plan then. The apocalypse is coming. What are you doing? We did this on the Nottingham Forest podcast yesterday, and Matt Davis, the Nottingham reporter, was telling me about how he would go to Scotland, to the Highlands, and survive in a cabin up in Scotland. Have you got any survival plans in case the worst comes?
You've thrown this onto me a little bit. I mean, I'm just looking around. You unfortunately can't see behind the camera, but I'm just looking around, and this is my wife's kind of eBay junk den. So if I was to survive in here, I'd probably have a load of kind of kids' games from ages 4 to 9. I'd have a range of handbags.
Oh, so you're surviving at your house? You haven't got a plan
and
to move
ladies'
elsewhere?
shoes. Well, I've properly kind of hunkered down or bunkered in or whatever. I'm scared to go out the front door, to be honest. I went round to see me mum and dad last night, and I was thinking, well, do I go and see them? I do want to see them, but am I kind of causing issues? Because obviously knocking on a little bit. And I'm glad I went round because I started eating. They've bought in loads of cakes. They've got like this kind of survival basket full of cakes. Yeah. And I just helped them with that because I wouldn't want those cakes to go to waste.
No.
What would you do then? What would your survival plan be?
I'm not sure. I think I'd stay at home for now. Just stay in good old house, Owen. Keep my home comforts. I don't know. I remember talking like this ages and ages ago at some like family event, and my cousin always used to say that she would stay upstairs and knock the stairs out, so no zombies could get up to the second floor. Which I was kind of like, well, I understand that, but you're also then stuck on the top floor for the foreseeable as well. You won't be able to go anywhere. I'm a little bit concerned.
It sounds like an Atari platform game. This does. It sounds like kind of
Atari.
Yeah, I am proper retro, mate, as you know. What I would like to do, but I think it would still come with its pitfalls. I'd like to spend my survival days in a swim-up bar. So you can just kind of just be, nice and relaxed in the water, somewhere in, I don't know, Mexico or something like that. But the problem is I wouldn't want to go anywhere near the barman in case he was the one who was affected.
And also getting to Mexico is a bit of an issue.
Yeah, well, it's only a minor inconvenience, isn't it? So.
Yeah, I think I'll just stay at home. The one thing I'm concerned about, which I'm trying to rectify ASAP, is driving. I've got a driving lesson after this in about half an hour. I'd like to be able to drive if the apocalypse comes, so I could go to like the various outposts and like find different survival camps and stuff. Whereas at the moment, if I've got to get a bus somewhere during the apocalypse, that'd be they don't often come on time as it stands. So if the end of the world comes, I'm going to be stranded. So I need to get my driving test sorted. Is my apocalypse plan.
Imagine that if the zombies are chasing you, just in a queue, waiting for number 9.
Oh no, yeah.
And then it won't accept your contactless payment. Yeah. Oh, mate, what a way to go.
Exactly. So getting driving is a priority. Back to the podcast and our survival plans for our job. This is how we're going to record stuff for the foreseeable. Obviously, we're missing the third party, Ash, at the moment. That's because the microphone that he's about to use for the podcast is still sat on the floor right by me. I've not yet had chance to venture over out of the quarantine zone to...
Where have you been looking so far, by the way? Because I've just been staring aimlessly into nothing. I've probably gone cross-eyed.
My setup is I'm at home, I've got my desk. Obviously, viewers will be able to see some of this at some point. I've got my laptop and I'm looking out. I'm sat opposite the window, but I've got the blind shut because I've got a light on, so I can't even look out the window. So I've just kind of, there's a Claret Blue mug on the windowsill and the Shreddies bowl that I had for breakfast. So
This is great content, mate.
I'm kind of just looking around the room a little bit aimlessly.
That bloke who battered us with the latest review on iTunes is going to be loving this, isn't he?
Well,
he's going to be sharpening his knives.
So I did a video yesterday with a guy from the Liverpool Echo talking about how the coronavirus outbreak affects the Premier League, how we think it should end, and how that affects a team at the top, Liverpool, and us, Villa, at the bottom. It's quite an interesting little chat, a different perspective, and someone left a comment saying, oh, this was boring, it was 20 minutes of why Liverpool should win the league. And it's like, I'm trying to do some investigative football journalism here. There's one group of people saying you don't talk about football enough, talk about football, so I'm trying to do that. And then when I make a 20-minute chat about football, people say, bring back the nonsense about carveries, so you can't win.
We know this Liverpool guy. Do you think he'd have 2 Yorkshire puddings or not? Did he commit to that?
I didn't ask. Somebody did tweet me saying, I can't believe you didn't ask him what his favourite meal deal was, which I love that reference. I love that we've built this audience now that know that we're about a bit of nonsense. So
I think we've signposted it quite well, mate, to be honest.
Yeah. We're going to try, aren't we? We're going to try and do some memory lane stuff and look at classic games and react to the news that happens. Obviously, there's this Premier League meeting happening today about what the solution to the rest of football is going to be. So we're going to be, if anything, we're probably going to be able to make more videos than we would when we were at work, because we don't have to travel to the office to record. We can kind of jump on a phone call and chat about whatever happens. So in a strange set of events, the coronavirus outbreak probably means we'll be more productive than we were before. Is that
it's funny
accurate?
that, speaking generally, I've had more FaceTime, Google Hangout, Skype calls with my colleagues in the last few days, even colleagues I've not seen for years. There's no danger of getting lonely. No, they should all leave me alone, to be honest. It's just incessant. But I think it's
Slack channel now. There's just constant stream of people doing work. I'm not used to all this. WhatsApp messages left, right, and centre asking me to do things. I could do with a break, to be honest. Can I have some time off?
Unbelievable. I'll tell you what, I could do you this deal. You can work from home.
Oh, can I? Oh, can I work from home for the next 10 weeks, please?
Well, you can come and work from my home if you want, because my kids are going to be under my feet as of next week.
Oh, yeah.
So I might get my lad on the podcast to offer a younger, fresher perspective.
That's a good
YouTube
idea.
viewers will notice that I'm wearing a rather chunky set of headphones at the moment, which I've actually nicked from my son when he's playing Fortnite. So we're going to have to ration these out, I think, over the next couple of weeks. Dad, give me headphones.
Yeah, so your setup. So in theory, if I've done my job correctly, my half of the screen should be decent camera, because I'm using the camera that we use and the microphone that we use for the podcast. You're also using the same microphone that we use for the podcast. So if anything, the quality should be, I'd say, possibly better than we have at work, because we don't have the air conditioning going on in the meeting room.
Yeah, you might get it's raining on my conservatory roof at the moment. So you might get a little pitter-patter of rain.
Okay.
But yeah,
I can hear it now, yeah. I can hear it on the phone. I didn't hear it before.
I'm sorry, mate. I've probably kind of alerted our listeners to it now, and it's going to annoy them.
Yeah, so we're going to put a kind of content list of ideas together. I feel like the YouTube channel and the podcast feed will kind of become, in my head anyway, a little bit like a Villa TV channel almost, that you don't have to watch everything. Obviously, we'd prefer that you do watch as much stuff as we post. But what I mean is, not everything we post will be for everybody. A 20-minute chat about Liverpool isn't going to be for everybody. But we're trying to do as much stuff as possible that you can kind of flick through and think, oh yeah, that's interesting. That's not. I mean, you might think none of it's interesting, but we're going to try and continue to do as best we can.
All the podcasts are available.
Yeah, you don't have to listen to this, but this is our job, so we have to carry on and do stuff. Like, we can't just go, oh right, that's it. Premier League's cancelled for 6 months. We're going home and doing nothing. We have to make some stuff, so bear with us. Some stuff will be as the usual nonsense. The podcast that the three of us do together will be the usual ramble, filmed from 3 separate locations. When I can finally get Ash sorted out, we'll get James drafted in, James Rushton, to do some bits and pieces like the good old Villa View days. There's a mention for the Villa View again on our podcast, and we're just going to try and kind of wing it a little bit in usual style, but also get a content list of things we want to produce, and your feedback as well is important. We want people to give us suggestions, what they want us to talk about,
Should we have a quick content meeting on air now?
Yeah, we might as well. We had a chat, didn't we, about like watching a classic game together. We can't do that over Skype because that'd be weird. We can't all find the same game and press play at the same time. So things like anything that involves human contact is now off limits. So if anyone's got any kind of generic ideas they'd like to hear, kind of question and answer sessions, we've done first games and stuff. So I don't know. We kind of need your help to do stuff.
We're going to break down the team department by department and have our say on it. I've got an idea for you, Dan, that is not Aston Villa related at all, but I just wondered if you wanted to pop over the road to Alzo in town and do a piece about how they're bearing up and missing out on their FA Trophy semi-final.
Yeah, good shout.
But
that's totally unrelated to this YouTube channel where that video would not end up. So for the audience listening, they'll never see that video.
It might, mate. If you get the Alzo and chairman wearing a Villa hat, we've had more tenuous stuff than that. I want it to be I want us to talk about
just where a blanket, by the way.
Say it again.
I'm just getting a blanket on, if that's all right. As soon as I'm working from home, so I'm going the full hog. I've got a little blanket and getting comfortable. Continue.
Well, I've got me weighing scales just to the by the fort. Those are for weighing me, by the way, not drugs.
Why did you even say that?
Well, you don't know what people think, do you? You know, I'm from Rowley Regis. Sorry for bad naming. You know, the people of Rowley Regis. Yeah. So what were you saying? Yeah, I think I want us to really analyse our thoughts in terms of the season so far, the players so far. I want us to get proper nostalgic, but not necessarily talking about great games and great goals. I want us to talk about our favourite tracksuit top. I want us to talk about, listen, I know this was reverting to type, but I want us to talk about what our pre-match meal would be if we were, if the coronavirus strikes so bad that we're called up to represent Aston Villa when it resumes.
God, imagine that.
And whether if we do have chicken and beans and a bit of a protein boost, whether you get mash with it, that kind of thing. I don't know really.
Great podcasting, isn't it? Though we're asking people to stick with us and stick with the channel over the next however many weeks, and we don't even know yet as of
but it's a voyage of discovery, isn't it? I'm not being funny, but the country doesn't know what it's going to do tomorrow.
Yeah, it's quite exciting in a way, in a weird kind of. Not kind of
in a way, there's a disease that's wiping out the entire human race, and we're all better collectively, but we've all got to be isolated. Yeah, it's really exciting times, mate. Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Thanks, Wuhan. You've got, in all seriousness, all seriousness and jokiness, you've got to try and put a brave face on it. It's really uncertain, unsettling times. If we can't be together, it sounds like I'm kind of lusting after you. If we can't be together physically, then at least we can try and set up this little community where we can have a chat, we can have a laugh, we can talk about the things that matter dearly to us, whether it's meal deals or Aston Villa Football Club, and hopefully we can give people a little bit of a chuckle and a bit of light relief along the way.
Yeah,
or we can give the haters more reason to hate.
Exactly.
I'm relaxed about it, to be honest.
So am I. Also, now we're doing stuff via the internet, and I'm having to lower my threshold on production quality, which is killing me more than anything. We can get fans involved and stuff easier than we would have been able to before. We can get a group chat going on WhatsApp and get people in Skype and things like that, and fans that we know of, and get them to come and have their say on different things as well, and kind of like you say, make it a little bit of a community atmosphere. That I had a tweet saying something like, after a difficult couple of days at work, our Nonsense podcast was the first time they laughed properly for a couple of days, and I was like, well, that's nice that we can kind of offer some kind of, like, it's like as if we offer some kind of service, but you know what I mean, that we can offer a bit of a 45 minutes of, or however long this video ends up being, 15 minutes of nonsense, just to let people sort of zone out a little bit. So if that's what we're here for the next few weeks, then I'm all for that.
Imagine how bleak your life must be if we're providing therapy for you.
I know. I'm also obviously working from home. Someone's using a hairdryer, so I can hear that. So I'm sure that the microphone can hear that. I've also got the dog walking around the bedroom as well. Would we like to see the dog? I know you can't see the dog, but
I'd like to confirm that it's not me using the hairdryer though. Unless I'm drying my arms.
I'm going to get the dog. Hang on a sec, everybody.
Is the dog there?
Oh, I've got the dog. He's sat on my lap. Hello, everybody.
Hello, dog.
Hello, everybody. This is Stanley, the brown Labrador. Hello. You okay? He's very, very heavy. He's very fat. He's missing his walks because the weather's bad, and we've all got.
You're talking about the dog now, or me?
I'm talking about the dog. He's also very tired. So yeah, this is my living situation and working situation. That I sleep over there, I roll out of bed, work over here. I might do the next podcast in my bed actually, and just cut out the middleman, and not even get up. Is that all right?
Yeah.
Is that all right?
Is this going to be kind of Claret and Blue Babe Station kind of thing? Is that what you're going to do? You're going to wheel your phone at us and shake yourself provocatively?
Okay, I think that's probably time to call it a day, isn't it?
I think you're probably right. Yeah, but we'll get that storyboarded, mate, when the cameras stop rolling.
So thank you very much for everybody who's sticking with us so far. We're going to try and continue to bring our best Villa coverage to you.
The irony.
Throughout the duration of being no football. The great thing I liked is, just before you go, there was a comment saying, if there's no football to talk about, don't do a podcast at all. And I was like, as much as I would love to have time off, we need to keep doing something, so we're going to try our best, as I say. So yeah, if everyone's got any suggestions for how we keep going, let us know. And we'll see you again at some point in the next few days, I guess. I don't know. There's no schedule here, so just keep an eye on our stuff and follow us on Twitter and all the rest of it, and you'll see what we're up to.
Award-winning content, mate. Love it.
It is. It really is, mate. There's some great stuff coming up. This toilet roll challenge is going to be a great video, so stay tuned for that little teaser.
Right, till next time. Thanks all.
Thank you very much. We'll see you soon.
Bye. Thank you for listening to Claret and Blue, an Aston Villa podcast. If you enjoyed today's episode, then please let us know. We love hearing your feedback. We'll be back soon with another episode. Until then, up the Villa.